A large crowd has gathered outside Queensland State Parliament protesting against a dangerous devices bill set to be fast-tracked through Parliament. Brendan Smith is live there for us. Brendan, what does this bill specifically involve?
So this targets so-called lock-on devices that we've seen across a number of climate protests here in Brisbane and across Australia. They're pretty much either pipes or barrels that protesters put their hands into, then they are effectively locked into those devices until emergency services do cut them free. The fear from the state government is that some of those devices are booby-trapped with either glass or butane gas. A number of protesters say, though, this is not the case and there's actually been no evidence of this. But Labor Senator Deb ONeil says that she's worried about particular devices that could harm protesters.
The protest goal, I'm sure, is to achieve an outcome, and that's to bring the whole community along with them. I would be really worried about any form of protest that put protesters physically at risk themselves and also put the community at risk and endangered the community. Anything that takes up community resources like, ambulances or resources that take away from serving the broader community, I think people really need to look at the way in which protest can deliver a good outcome without going to excess.
Now, this particular protest today involved a raft of people from Extinction Rebellion, some members of the CFMEU. All are really fearful that these fast-tracked laws could, in fact, impinge on their civil rights to peacefully protest. Greens MP Michael Berkman says that Labor has lost its way and needs to go back to its grassroots values.
Labor, I don't know what they're thinking. They've completely abandoned their base with laws like this that target peaceful protesters. And in the process, they've left the door wide open for the LNP to come in with any kinds of regressive penalties for protests that they like if they end up in government soon.
Now, a number of protesters here as well have likened these fast-track laws to the Joh Bjelke-Petersen era, which targeted a number of protesters as well. We saw a number of placards up today calling Anastasia Palaszczuk a traitor. I actually spoke to a law lecturer who says that this is an extremely slippery slope once these laws do pass, and it could set the precedent for other laws to pass through Queensland.
Anti-protest laws are always a slippery slope, and secondly, Lockons really help keep the peace at protests. It's something people don't understand, but having a person locked on is very calm and peaceful. The police come along, they look at it, they assess the situation, and then they cut the person off safely, and the rest of the crowd can just stand there and make their political message. If you remove lock-ons, you get to the situation where you're going to have these rugby scrums where people are linking arms and lines of police are going against them.
So the bill will soon be debated here in State Parliament. It is likely to pass on Thursday.